Welcome to How to Deal When the Shit Gets Real podcast. I'm Rietta.
And I'm Connie, and we are two crazy cousins. And today we are talking about consumerism. And this is more of a my topic thing than like Rietta. I came up with this one. Rietta came up with like the last three, but I added. I mean, it's beside the point. Just because of the fact that I've noticed a lot of my friends and family being bored because of this Rona virus. So they're just going and buying shit.
My Corona.
Exactly. And also there's a street up from my house that's Corona.
That's hilarious. And you have helped. We have come up with ideas together.
Oh, well, of course. Everything is here in our studio, I guess. Everything is a group effort here.
I like the sound of that, here in our studio.
One day. Okay, Rihanna? One day.
One day.
If we're ever close enough, distance-wise.
Which might happen sooner than you think.
Well, I can't go to South Carolina.
Virginia, woman, Virginia.
Oh, I thought it was South Carolina. Either way. Both states. I can't go every Monday and drive, which would be kind of funny.
It would be funny. But yes, we're going to talk consumerism, how it's changed, and even before the Rona happened, what people are doing, how it's changed from, I still remember most people brick and mortar shopped when we were teenagers. You know, that was the thing to do, to go get dropped off at the mall and cruise the mall with your friends, and now everything is Amazon.
Always. Oh my gosh, and counting your dollars. Can I get this little rinky-dink, what the hell ever, t-shirt that's going to shrink in a day, and you're probably going to throw it out within the next day?
Mm-hmm. I used to love Delia's. Delia's was my jam. I loved that store.
Before my time.
You don't remember Delia's? Really? Nah, I guess you are 7 years younger, so that would make sense. Somebody out there listening is totally going, yeah, girl.
Or it's just your head. No, I'm just kidding. I know. Well, no, I've heard of the store. I've just never had to shop there because I was probably too young. Just going to be realistic.
When we went to Mexico, my swimsuit that I brought with me, that was my favorite swimsuit in the entire world, was from Delia's. It was so cute.
Good times. Good
times. So yeah, back in the day when you actually used to go and look and feel and touch things before you bought them.
But I'm still that way. That is still me to a T, especially for clothing items. If it's other things, leggings aren't too bad. I could get leggings online, but I'm super into the way my clothes feel looking at the stitching. So brick and mortar stores definitely still do it for me. So
that's what she said.
But anything else that's not clothing, I'll do on Amazon. And I think I'm just, the other reason why I don't do the Amazon is that I probably could or should, because they have that free trial thing where you can try it on in home and then return it. But I'm bad at the returning part.
Oh, yeah.
I have never been good with returning things to Amazon.
Well, and you said you had to touch your yarn too. That's why you haven't started knitting. So you have to. It's not just clothes.
It really is. I'm a touchaholic. It's fine. I like to touch things.
And you can't touch things right now because you might get the Rona. Just kidding.
I still touch everything.
I order some clothes online because I have a girlfriend that runs this really cute boutique. She's a fellow military wife, and I love to support her. But I ask her a million questions. I'm like, what does it feel like? How does it fit you? What size do you wear?
Obviously answers all of your questions, right?
Oh, yeah. She's a sweetheart. I'm always like, I'm sorry that I'm asking you 100 questions. She's like, girl, no, ask away. She's a sweetie. And I've liked everything that I bought from her. But that's really the only place. I do use Amazon a lot, but only really because we're on island. And Amazon Prime has been... Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. It just sounds like a hillbilly there for a second.
Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime has been a lifesaver because even if it doesn't get here in 2 days, it's usually pretty close. So I've been using Prime a lot.
Even on island, huh? Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's probably like 50-50 that it gets here 2 days or not. But even still, it's faster than regular mail, and I can't get everything here. So.
Did you ever end up getting that little kiddie pool that you wanted?
I didn't, but I ended up getting this. There was this mat that I've been wanting forever. It's like a floating mat, but it's big. You can get 8 people on it. And since we can't lay on the beach right now, I was like, oh, this gives me an excuse to buy it because then I can lay in the water.
Oh, why? So because they allow you to actually go into the water, just not lay on the beach?
Yeah, you just can't set up camp on the beach. You can, walk it or run it or exercise or be in the water kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding or swimming or whatever. They just don't want you being idle on the beach.
Oh, okay. That's different.
Yeah, it's kind of
How's
challenging.
the difference? That is challenging.
So that's why I got this big mat, because I can then I can still lay out, but I'm in the water.
That is challenging and annoying all at the same time.
Yeah, especially since you know how it is when you lay in the ocean. Even when there's little waves, you have to tie yourself to something or you're going to end up who knows where.
Yeah, you really have to watch where you're at.
Yes.
How the hell do you tie yourself to something, Rihanna?
I'm going to tie a rock or something,
Oh, okay.
I haven't figured that part out yet, but I'm sure I will. Or I'll just tell Jackson. Jackson likes to play games like that. I'll be like, hey, hang on to Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Pull me around with the rope, and he can take the rope.
Oh, I remember doing that all the time when I was a child on Lake Michigan.
We also had a certain aunt that liked to lay out and be like, okay, just pull me around. And we were like, yeah, okay.
I think pretty much all of our aunts, given the chance, would do that.
Probably. But anyway.
Anyhow, I mean, hey, it's just another way that Rona has changed your consumer experience. Because now you have to think creatively not to get around, but to bend the rules a bit.
Yeah. I had been wanting that mat anyway, so it was just an extra excuse. Except, of course, when I finally decided that I'm going to pull the trigger, it went from $30 to $50. And I was like, damn it. But oh well.
Yeah, basically. Gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I definitely miss being able to go in the store, and I'm sure they'll open them up soon, I hope.
I think they will. It's just sad that I know a lot of them are filing for bankruptcy, which doesn't mean that they're going to close, but it's sad that they're even having to take that step. Neiman and Marcus filed, Gold's Gym filed. A lot of people are filing for bankruptcy right now.
Actually, right before Corona hit, there's this furniture store, Art Van. They went into bankruptcy and were selling all of their stock, literally right before. So it's like, I wonder what happened to it. Did that stop it because of Corona? Maybe. Everything shut down? That'll be interesting to see.
Maybe that was just the final, nail in the coffin, whatever you want to call it. I had to buy a lot of furniture through Amazon, Wayfair and stuff when we moved out here, which that to me was a huge challenge because furniture,
it is.
When you're spending money and a decent amount of money, because furniture isn't really cheap, it's usually something you want to look at and feel and touch, just like you talked about clothes, because you want to make sure that it's worth the money.
And it's also something that's very hard to return.
Yes. I mean, Amazon's great because they will take everything back. They always will take everything back. I've never had a problem, but it was interesting.
Did you have some difficult returns that you had to do and swipe out items?
Actually, no. I didn't have anything I had to send back. Everything turned out good. The bookshelf that's behind me that you can't see because the thing is blurred is actually one of my favorite things ever, and that was from Amazon, and I love it.
I feel like reviews are the key to online shopping. The other weary thing of online shopping is you get what you pay for. I know a lot of my girlfriends go on these websites that I'm not going to name because you should know them, A, and B, if you don't, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not naming them. But anyway,
the hint is you see them in your Facebook ad cycle all the time. I see them all the time.
I see them all the time. And they're all so cheap. So you're like, well, I mean, for that price, I'll do it. But really, are you buying it because you actually need and want it? Or are you buying it because it's just so fucking cheap? I feel like that's a border that people can play with a lot, Because I caught myself looking at some of these websites, just adding stuff to my cart. This is nothing. I'm getting all this stuff for $50. Holy crap. Mm-hmm. And I stopped myself from buying it because I'm like, yeah, but what's that quality of it going to really be like? And then even when you get it, and yes, you can return them. is it really worth returning it when it's going to cost you more money in shipping to send it back to China, because that's where the shit's from, and in restocking fees? So then you just end up stuck at home with a shitty piece of clothing.
I only use those websites personally anyway for bathing suits, because I do like that, because they're not bad actually. Their bathing suits aren't too bad. I mean, they're definitely not a Macy's bathing suit, but it's a bathing suit, so I'm kind of whatever about it. And again, I read the reviews. I'm a 34C and I sized up too large and it was perfect. And I'm like, all right, great, perfect, large. Because, the China sizes are tiny. But that's the only thing I've personally ever used it for, because I'm with you. I don't want a dress that you can see through. I want a nice dress.
Yeah, I've gotten bathing suits, and you're right. The bathing suits are pretty decent. They're not horrible. They're not amazing. The feel of the cloth is different than a Macy's bathing suit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked my bathing suits. And I've gotten one dress, and it turned out pretty okay. It looks pretty good. On further inspection, I had to go through it and get rid of a lot of stray strings, borderline the outside, but it looks fine now.
Yeah, and I feel like bathing suits you can't really mess up. I mean, there's not really much to mess up there.
Yeah, it's a holder for your boobs and basically panties. It's not it's a couple of triangles.
Yeah.
It's how they're always described, right?
So guys, since we're talking about this, let us know your opinion on these no-name websites that we won't name, that you know what we're talking about. We know that you know that you know that we know.
We all know. Let's get over it and continue on. And see, the other thing about it is I feel like because stores aren't open, a lot of my friends have just been going on their sites, buy stuff just to buy stuff. Why are you buying anything? We can't go anywhere. Well, for when we do open up. Well, buying something in the spring thinking for the springtime versus the summer, that's two different seasons. And I still think it's wasteful. But my other friend gave me an insight to this as well, because she was like, yeah, I feel you, and I wouldn't buy it on those cheap ass sites because they're basically horrible. Mm-hmm. And I agree. But she was telling me that there's a lot of, because everybody's struggling right now because you don't have brick and mortar stores, that there are some crazy sales out there. My girlfriend got a really cute summer dress that normally goes for $100 for $15. I do understand, okay, well, I really want this fucking fabulous deal. But those websites, they aren't a deal. They're just cheap clothing for cheap prices.
Yeah.
You're not getting a great quality dress for a really decent price.
I feel like people, too, are only doing it because it gives them something to look forward to.
Which is not a horrible thing.
No, it's not. But in 3 days, my new dress will be here, or my new book will be here, or whatever.
Or I can't wait to wear it out for this future event, hopefully.
Exactly.
And that's not a bad thing. But I feel like people need to think in general, okay, am I doing this just for, so I'm not bored, so I can look forward to something? Is this just going to be a waste of space in my closet, or do I actually need it? Because I've been looking online tank tops and stuff, because I actually need tank tops. All of my tank tops are 2XL, and I am a medium now. That is a genuine need. And I also haven't wanted to spend money. I'm going to be honest. I haven't felt the need to spend money right now.
Kind of the same way. I haven't wanted to really spend money unless it's something I'm doing or investing in or something I really need. Or if it's something, like you said, I really want. I'm not just buying it to buy it. My girlfriend that owns that really cute little boutique posted this super cute sweater, and it wasn't that expensive, and I was like, oh, I can get ready for North Carolina or Virginia or the East Coast because I'm actually going to need these things.
Did you end up buying it, or did you stop yourself from it?
No, I did, and I love it. It's so cute.
Nice. Well, and I think that's another thing. I'd like to get into buying things less from a large box store where everything is from Asia, and trying to buy more locally.
Yeah,
made boutique type stuff, but it's
yeah.
hard because it's expensive, because there's a lot of more time and effort put into it versus there's a lot less time put into a t-shirt at Kohl's.
Yeah, that's why I tried to buy from her, because it is her own little business, and she's also a military wife, so I like to support her and
Small
what she's
business.
doing. Yeah, and we're doing the same thing around here. Obviously you can't go out to eat right now, but we try to order from the local pizza place or the local ice cream shop, just to give them some business, because these are the people that are going to be struggling when this is over.
Oh, for sure, is the small businesses.
Especially here, because everything is so run on tourism, and there is, I mean, I don't want to say none. There is some. They are letting some in. They have to be in quarantine for 14 days.
Oh, really?
I
That's
got
different.
a guy just got arrested this past week because he was supposed to be in quarantine, and like an idiot, he posted pictures of himself on the beach on Instagram, and so he got arrested for breaking quarantine.
That's hilarious.
Gotta love it.
Well, but
Yep.
how do you, my question is, how do you vacation? What, so you'd have to vacation for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, you're going to be in quarantine? That's crazy.
And they just started doing that. They weren't letting anybody come unless they were coming for work or they lived here or any of that. So, I mean, the island is really going to be struggling. So I try to buy from local places instead of Target or Kohl's or whatever, just to try to give a little boost that I can to the economy.
You do what you can. Well, I mean, and that also makes me think about the environment, because buying local stuff like you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it as much and I should do it more often, I'm fully aware, is much better for the environment and our local economy than buying from these cheap online stores that are in Asia. Because just thinking about the only the shipping, which does not go into the cloth that it's made out of,
Right.
and how it's made in general, is so bad. So people who are like, I want to save the planet, start by thinking local instead of buying from China shops, because people don't necessarily think, okay, I have clothing that I'm buying, and this actually has a large environmental impact because it's coming from China. Not people normally don't think about that when you think about your clothes. And also think about, how often am I going to wear X, Y, or Z? Because that's another thing. If you're only going to wear it one time or just a couple of times, or you have one special occasion in mind and you're probably never going to wear it again, that's also a different kind of environmental waste, because yeah, you might give it to Goodwill, but it'll eventually get to the dump if nobody wants it.
Yeah, I usually try to clean up my closet, and I usually give a lot of my stuff to what do you call them? Women's shelters. They have lots of, and they're always looking for jackets and socks and clothes and such like that. So I usually try to give it to women's shelters when I do clean out my closet, which I probably do more than most people, because when we move, of course,
you have to.
I don't want to make it work for me. Yeah, make it easier, make it work for me, and you might as well purge a little bit. So.
Yeah, that was actually one of my biggest and final points, is cleaning out your closet and maybe getting rid of all of the consumerism in your life, or at least some of it, is also very cathartic. It's good for you. It feels good doing it. Because at first, when I start first cleaning out my closet, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this. And then I get into it, start trying on things, thinking about what I want in my closet, it gets much easier. And then I start enjoying it and start throwing shit on the pile. Who am I kidding? I don't wear this. Okay, toss.
Yeah. Or you think you're going to wear it and you hang on to it, and then 2 weeks later you look at it and you still haven't worn it, and you're like, okay, this is going. It's still in the same spot that it was 2 weeks ago.
Yep. That's a good thing, because I definitely do not want to be on the TV show Hoarders. So,
no.
Although that's a very extreme.
Yeah, that's a very extreme version. I told my mom she's not allowed to get rid of her shoes. I will take them all.
Nice. That is definitely a perk of being the same size. I used to think that of my mom's shoes, but my mom's shoes are not the same anymore, because she doesn't do the heels anymore.
Yeah, she's not like my mom, and other aunts that always wore high, pretty expensive heels.
Yes, exactly. No, I'll take my mom's jewelry.
There you go.
She can't sell any of that.
No.
Or get rid of any of it.
Nope, that's mine, Mom. Sorry.
Yes, exactly.
You are not allowed to sell your stuff. It is mine.
Yes, exactly. I just think that in general, as a society, we've becoming too into consuming all of the food people consume, which ties into last week, and health. Yeah, we all consume too much food.
We do.
And it's also on regular items, everyday items.
And not even just how much food we're consuming, how much we're throwing away is the big thing.
And you could say the same thing about clothing. Because I definitely remember when I was younger, I would go out on a Thursday or Friday, find a cute, cheap top that I could wear out on Saturday and pretty much maybe wear it one other time and then throw it out.
Oh, I never did that. But that's interesting. I never even thought about doing that.
I didn't do it very often, but when I was working at a mall, yeah, it definitely happened. And I know plenty of people who have, a couple of my girlfriends who have worn an outfit one time and either like lost weight and given it away or just never really worn it again, maybe wore it once or twice and then, now it's done. Because actually I remember this in my environmental sociology class that our fashion, it used to be 7 seasons or something, and now it's uncountable because of how often and fast fashion changes. So when my friend gives an excuse of, oh, well, I want my wardrobe to stay up to date, it will never happen because fashion is changing so quickly.
Well, and a lot of the stuff is coming back. If you look at a lot of stuff that's coming back, it's the stuff that was big.
Jean skirts.
When our parents were teenagers, the bell-bottom jeans and the jean skirts and the jean jackets, all that shit's coming back.
Oh, yeah. My one friend who's super into fashion also pretty much got a 2-piece version of an outfit from Clueless. I was like, so 70s? We going for the 70s, 80s look? What are we doing over here?
Well, Clueless would be 90s, but yes.
Well, the print though, it looked, I don't know.
Oh, she got like a different print?
Yeah, that made it kind of look more 70s, but the outfit cut and design, I like, that looks exactly from Clueless. Because it was the same plaid print that she classically wears. Mm-hmm. But it was in a 70s outfit. This is Clueless or 70s? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're not.
This is weird.
Well, and I think, too, I worked in the restaurant business for a long time and bartending and all that, and you see a lot of waste in that environment, too.
Oh,
the amount of food and the amount of stuff that gets thrown out, even silverware. Like, people will accidentally throw out silverware, and you think about where that ends up and how wasteful that is.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I get that they can't necessarily hang on to food because it's a health hazard. They're a restaurant, they can't reuse.
Yeah.
But you would think there would be something we could do to figure out a way to give it to a homeless shelter or do something with it that it doesn't just get thrown out, because the amount of food that gets thrown out is uncanny. I mean, it's crazy.
Brings me back to college once again, because there was a class where we had a social experiment, and this one lady did dumpster diving. All her food and groceries she would go to the grocery stores after hours, go into their dumpsters, and take out food.
Interesting.
It's not how you normally get food, because you're not just picking out the few items that you want. Mm-hmm. You're getting 10 cartons of strawberries. And so she made like a joke. I don't even know how I still remember this shit, honestly. But she made a joke that like you have to learn how to make jam because you have so many strawberries and they're all on the verge of going bad. Mm-hmm. That you have to do something with it, or you have to make applesauce.
Yeah,
or something of that nature.
Yeah, too bad she didn't have a freezer. You could freeze them and then use them later.
How well that works with strawberry. Oh, yeah, you could do that with strawberry.
Oh, no, you could do it with anything. if I have bananas or strawberries or something going bad, I cut them up and put them in a bag in the freezer, and I'll use it for a smoothie later.
Oh, no. Tom put a bag of salad in the freezer.
Oh,
Let me
goodness.
tell you, no.
Salad's a
Stop.
little different. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, let me tell you, you cannot just cut it up and put it in the freezer because it was gross.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Come on, Thomas. Get your ish together.
He didn't know any better. But yeah, I actually do that with cheese, shredded cheese. Sometimes we don't go through it as fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, we're not going through it fast right now. I'm going to put one bag in the freezer.
So there you go, guys. Those are ways to not waste food. Either don't overbuy, just buy a little bit at a time every few days for what you need. Or if things are starting to go bad and you're not eating it as fast as you do. Because I swear sometimes bananas, they're good for a week. And sometimes a day later they're like, and I'm done. And you're like, I wasn't even ready. I wasn't ready.
Basically. Actually, that reminds a time when we used to we don't really buy bananas anymore because they're high carb content. But when we used to, I swear, I used to have to make like banana bread every month because I was like, ooh, these have gotten too dark. I'm going to put them in the freezer and then thaw them out and use them for banana bread later. And Tom looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, your mom's never done this before? My mom did this all the time. She'd throw the not bad, but going bad bananas in the freezer to make banana bread, of course.
My mom does the same thing too. That, or like I said, you cut them up and just put them in a bag and then you can put them in a smoothie later.
Thought about it.
Bananas we usually go through pretty quick because Jackson probably eats one almost every day. And
it's a good kid snack.
Yeah, it is. And I eat one pretty often too because they're good for you. They're, a good source of potassium and all that good stuff. But, sometimes they turn faster.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, well, they looked really not quite ripe yet in the store. How is it that I bring them home and all of a sudden, like that, oh, perfectly ripe, and then the next day, brown?
Yeah. I don't
just
know.
Bananas.
I don't know if it's the humidity here or what, but I'm like, what are you doing, bananas? Can we get on the same level, please?
And it's also like fruit that you normally keep out. Like, you normally put it in the fridge. Maybe you guys have to put it in the fridge. I don't know.
Oh, no.
I've never put a banana in the fridge before.
No, me either. They're always, I have a little bowl on my table just for the nanners.
Also, which reminds me, so I got the glass bowl, crystal bowl, whatever, for the wedding.
Of course you did.
Of course, because our family.
Yes.
There's no
crystal everything.
Yeah. They're all very into crystal. But Tom thinks the coolest thing ever because he has never known really anybody to own crystal before. So it's a whole new world for him. Mm-hmm. He's like, what? What is this? Okay, beside the point. So he was like, well, no, isn't that a fruit bowl? Shouldn't we just be putting our bananas in it? I was like, no, it's a decorative bowl. You put stuff in it. You don't put your bruised bananas in my crystal bowl. I have these not fancy, but decorative balls. They're my balls. I got big balls and I cannot lie. And I put them in the bowl and he makes fun of me for it. He's like, you have $2 balls in a crystal bowl. Are you joking? This is ridiculous. I'm like, shut up.
Consumerism.
Yeah. I was like, well, because I'm not going to go and buy like crazy expensive balls. Like, these are just ones I've already had. I'm putting them in there so it looks good.
And, I mean, the crystal's beautiful. And, of course, my mom brought me, what did she bring it? I think it's a crystal sugar bowl and a crystal creamer bowl. She just brought them to me. She was just like, here, you have these. And I'm like, I move all the time. And you're going to give me crystal that is potentially going to get busted the fuck up by the movers.
And if not, when you moved to Hawaii, you only had a certain weight limit.
This seems like a bad idea, but sure enough, they're downstairs next to my coffee pot, and they look really pretty, but when we move again, I'm going to be going, don't touch.
You're just going to bring them on with your carry-on. You're like, yep. These are my crystal. I must hold them. Keep them safe forever.
They're going to be in my purse, and people are going to be like, why do you have a sugar and a creamer bowl in your purse? Don't ask.
You don't need to know. I'd rather get Chris passed down to me from family members, though.
I think that's where that came from. I think that was Grandma Vic's. I think that was where those came from.
Well, then that's nice.
It is nice, but then I have to worry about them being broken. I love them. They're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But we move a lot, and then that's just something else for me to worry about.
Practical.
I had something of Aunt Barbara's, and it got broken.
What was it? One of the precious moments?
Yep. Lucky for me, I have 2 of them. I don't know where the second one is, but they put it in a bag with something really heavy, and it just demolished it. It had no chance.
Well, of course. Why did they do that?
I don't know, because they're movers, and it's challenging.
But yeah, actually, our aunts, talking about Crystal, they are what some have said shopaholics when they were younger. Man, that was the thing that they all did, though, was they would go to the brick and mortar stores and go shopping.
Oh yeah, every Thursday, every Saturday, they would go to, the big malls, walk around, buy a pair of shoes every time.
Oh yeah, wanting to buy me a crazy white leather jacket when I was like 12. And it was crazy expensive. And I was like, no, there's no way I'm wearing a white leather jacket anywhere. At the time, one, I was like, this, not my style, first of all. Second of all, I would stain it. It's white.
Yeah. That's another thing about them, too. They not only are shopaholics, they are buying very expensive, high-end stuff.
Yes.
Which isn't a bad thing. I definitely believe in quality over quantity, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, how we won't really buy from the shops we will not name. I'd rather spend the money. For instance, we have a Tempur-Pedic mattress. Tempur-Pedic is not cheap, but it's going to last at least 10 years.
Oh, for sure.
So it's worth the money. So there's just certain things, and I think clothes too, that it is worth it to spend the money on, because then you have less of it, but it's better quality and you're going to have it longer.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually what I'm in this process of doing now, is I want to wait a little bit longer, lose more weight, but the process is, okay, all of this shit that I had before, 1XL, 2XL, even extra large. And I'm now a medium, so it's got to go. But I haven't wanted to spend the time or the money or a lot of money on new clothes, because I still have at least 25 to 30 pounds left to go. Mm-hmm. So what's the point? I'll just wear stuff that's slightly too baggy. It's fine. And I bought a few items, though, just to tide me over so that not everything looks like a giant bag.
Well, that's good. I remember when we first went to the military ball, I was trying to find a dress, and I wanted to spend as little as possible and just get a dress. And now I'm going to go to this nice formal, it's kind of like going to a wedding, a nice formal dinner. I'm going to go to Nordstrom's or Macy's or wherever, and if I spend $200 or $300 on a dress, so be it. But I'll have it for a long time so that I can wear later to a wedding. I'd rather spend the money and get a nice dress that I will wear again than buy a cheap one that I probably will never wear again, that I wasn't really all that happy with, that I just settled with because it was in budget.
Well, have you actually ever tried those renting dresses before?
I thought about it. I might try it one of these years. I haven't yet. Maybe I'll try it this year for the ball. But a lot of times you're spending like $200 or $300 to rent it when I could just buy one for that price. But yeah, it would be fun to wear. I don't know what's one of the big. I'm not a fashion person. Not that deep in fashion.
A Louis Vuitton dress.
Yeah, or
I don't know. They do. I think they do normally. I don't know what they do. Whatever. Gucci.
Yeah, Dolce and Gabbana, that would be cool to be like, this is Dolce.
Well, see, and that's the other thing, though, is like also seen on those renting websites. It's a dress that maybe costs $50 to $100, depending on where you get it. Okay, for I'll bring this back to an actual story, is this coworker of mine was going to a gala. She rented a dress for $50. The dress looked like I could get it from Kohl's on sale for $40. And you're renting it for $50. You might as well go and buy. And this is the other thing, was that for a ball gown, if you were going like all out doing like this crazy dress, that would be great. Because all of the dresses that I've seen you for the Marine Ball wearing, they're all long, glamorous dresses. I can understand those being pretty expensive and being able to rent it for $50 to $100. Fine. But it was a short, knee-length, black dress that I'm like, you could literally find this dress anywhere.
Right.
Why bother renting it?
See, if I would do it, I would do it from that Rent the Runway where you're renting what the movie stars wear, where it is Dolce & Gabbana. If I was going to do it, that would be what I would do. I'm not going to do a cheapy one because then I can just, like I said, go to Macy's.
I don't think it was necessarily a cheap dress. It didn't look like anything I couldn't go and find at Macy's or Kohl's for $50. It just didn't look that spectacular. I didn't really get the point. Because it was just like a plain black knee-length dress. There was nothing crazy fun and fabulous about it. And this has also gotten really off topic, but our whole tangent into dresses. It's a little off topic, just a little though. But either way though, that Rent the Runway is definitely one way to cut down on clothing waste if you were going your Marine balls, cutting down and renting. But you are right in the fact that some of the dresses could be the same amount as if you went to Macy's.
Yeah. It is a good idea, though, to rent it because, like we talked about consumerism and being more responsible, it would be a way not to just buy another dress to keep in my closet. That I could just rent one and give it back and then, somebody else can wear it.
Hey, new idea. Your friend who owns the boutique makes you a custom dress and you can be like a celebrity, be like, yes, this is blah blah blah's dress, like new designer,
There you go.
You can tell her of my great ideas. You're welcome.
I will tell her. So this is your new endeavor. You're welcome.
Make me a fabulous dress, darling. Dress me up like one of your French girls. I'm only funny occasionally.
Occasionally.
I gotta really, step up my game. I didn't even make a coronavirus joke this time. Yet. There's still time. I'm just kidding.
I think we're out of coronavirus jokes because everybody's just so over it.
Yes, because we all want to get out and go anywhere. Literally anywhere. For my friend's birthday, we are doing a 6 feet apart picnic.
Oh, there you go. That'll be fun.
Yep. It'll be something. I do feel bad for all the little kids that had their birthday parties and everything, and now nothing. That sucks.
Yeah. My son is literally outside right now. I'm like, go play outside. He's like, I'm not supposed to be in the playground with my friends. I'm like, I don't care. Go play outside. And it's amazing how much his demeanor and how much happier he is being outside playing. He's not as grumpy, and he comes in and he's like, hey, Mom. I'm like, I missed this kid. You could play outside every day now.
Are they letting people do that now?
Nope, we're just doing it anyway.
I like it. Yeah, actually, our next door neighbor had a low-key party. Yeah, the other day. But, everybody was outside. I don't know if it was a kid's party or what. Probably a kid's party, let's be real. And so everybody was outside kind of far apart-ish, but it wasn't too many people. I think they had maybe 2 or 3 different kids / their families over. Which I don't think that's too bad. It wasn't a rager of 50 people in a tiny house.
No. And I mean, obviously we don't know for sure the facts, but if you look at Georgia and Florida, who are completely open, testing isn't perfect, but their numbers haven't gone up, and nothing crazy is happening, and the hospitals aren't being overtaken. So, yeah. Because
people mainly, unless they have other conditions, do just get over it within the 2 weeks from home. Yeah, I wish we were like Sweden and we just stayed open, and I hope we just stay open in the fall as well.
Yeah. Well, Sweden did, what did they call that?
Herd,
Herd?
herd
Yeah, herd
immunity.
immunity. Yeah. They did it the smart way, but
For sure. And well, okay, you know what? We're really getting off track here. So basically, what we're saying is we're all consumers. How do you like to consume? Amazon, box store? Do you go shopping a lot, a little? What do you think? Let us
and,
know and have a
and I,
good night.
yeah, and let us know if you're using Corona as an excuse to up your consumerism because you're bored.
You're bored, or like you said, trying to help out local businesses a little bit.
That's cool too.
That
Yeah.
is cool.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Rietta,
I'm Connie.
and thank you for listening.